Hey, how's it going? So the question is, what is the Bitcoin dominance chart? Well, this is just a chart that will show over time the percent of the entire market that Bitcoin is. So when I say the entire market, I mean add up all of the cryptos and what are they all worth together. So for example, right now the entire crypto market is about $3 trillion. And out of that 3 trillion, about 1.8 trillion, roughly just under 2/3 is Bitcoin. Now that's pretty normal for Bitcoin to dominate, and the chart is called Bitcoin dominance, but really it should just be called Bitcoin market share, right? To show what percent of the entire crypto market is Bitcoin at now. And you'll see this chart on, well, if you go to like CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, any kind of crypto news or stats site, you'll usually see the Bitcoin dominance expressed as a percentage. And you'll often see right beside it the ETH dominance, the Ethereum dominance as well. So I know they're called dominance, but really it should be called market share. Bitcoin market share, Ethereum market share. It's just more popular to call it dominance because, I don't know why. It's almost as if there's a narrative there, but it really shouldn't be called that. It should just be called market share because that's what it is. It's simply the market share. So for example, currently Bitcoin is 60% of the market share. And I'll give you a flavor. I mean, you can go look up the chart yourself anyway, but obviously, when Bitcoin came out, it was the first crypto, right? So it had 100% Bitcoin dominance. And then, as more and more coins have been created over time, thousands of them, some of them complete failures, but some of them surviving and growing in market share. Well, even though Bitcoin has stayed number one, of course, with all these other coins, it's going to be losing market share. So in general, you would expect the market share of Bitcoin to kind of trend down over time. And it kind of did that for a while, probably going up to around about, 2022, end of 2022 or thereabouts. And that coincides with pretty much the bottom point, the end of the last 4-year cycle. Now what we've seen is ever since then, as the new sort of pump has begun and the price has gone up, is that Bitcoin dominance, that the Bitcoin market share has actually increased over time. It kind of went from about 40% to 60% now. So it's pretty high. I mean, obviously it was as highest when Bitcoin first came out 15 years ago. Then more coins got released and it went down and down and down. And if you ignore the early history, then it has kind of oscillated in a band that has taken it as low as about 33% and as high as around 70%. So today it's at 60, and it stands to go even higher than that. Okay, what does it mean? At the moment Bitcoin dominance has gone up while we've been in a bull market, or the price has generally been going up. Now, it wasn't always like this. There was a time back in around, 2017 or something, and the few years after that, when people were like really bullish on ETH, and a lot of people thought Ethereum was going to take over from Bitcoin. They didn't realize at the time that Bitcoin would actually have a stronger long-term strength, just because of the nature of what it is. It's a store of wealth that's pretty much unbreakable. And people thought, well, ETH, it does decentralized finance, it has all this utility, surely it will become the number one coin, and people will prefer digital oil, Ethereum, that's its nickname. They will prefer digital oil over digital gold, which is Bitcoin's nickname. That's what a lot of people thought. They thought there was going to be this thing called the flippening, right, where the ETH dominance or the ETH market share was going to switch with Bitcoin. The ETH one was going to be the highest. And that never happened. It never switched. There never was a flipping. We came pretty close though. I mean, at the very close, we were looking at something like about 38% Bitcoin dominance and about 28% or 30% Ethereum dominance. So they came pretty close. They both had about a third of the market, but Bitcoin was still higher. But we've never come close to revisiting that ever since, and I'm not sure that will ever happen. I think that was the best time for ETH. I mean, in my opinion, you can't read too much into Bitcoin dominance, okay, or Bitcoin market share, because although as Bitcoin has risen this cycle, Bitcoin dominance has increased massively, and ETH dominance has done the opposite. In the previous cycle, something similar happened for the first pump. It was a very short period where Bitcoin dominance went up as the price of Bitcoin went up. But then what happened is for the second pump, that didn't happen at all. It was completely different. And by the time the second pump came around, Bitcoin dominance had already fallen and it hadn't come back up. So, you know, not too much to really read into that. I mean, another thing that you can say, it's just like a ready reckoner, really. It's just a kind of, you get a feel for the market when you see Bitcoin dominance, and it might kind of foreshadow like what often happens is you get this rotation in a bull market. So Bitcoin will go on a bull run, and then money will roll out of Bitcoin into the big altcoins, and then it'll roll out of that into the smaller altcoins. So if you find a good chart that shows Bitcoin dominance and ETH dominance and also others, then it can sort of give you an idea of the rotation. So for example, in between like April 2021, which was pretty much the peak, the first, there was two pumps in the previous cycle, and the peak of the first pump was April 2021, and Bitcoin dominance rapidly fell over the next 4 months, and then basically the Bitcoin price bottomed in the valley between the two peaks. So between the peak of the first pump and it bottoming out temporarily before pumping again, Bitcoin dominance fell a lot. And in the same time, all the other altcoins, not including Ethereum, well actually, yeah, also including Ethereum, but basically the rest of the market pumped like hell. So that kind of tells you something, that, you know, when the Bitcoin price went down during that period, it wasn't simply the fact that people were getting out of crypto. A lot of people were actually rolling out of Bitcoin and into altcoins. And that period, a lot of alts basically pumped. It was 2021, to be more accurate, like about January to May. Some people call that like DeFi Summer 2.0. And yeah, it was a very interesting time. Now, every cycle is different. You don't always get this kind of money rolling out of one class to another. But the nice thing, I think, overall about the Bitcoin dominance chart is kind of twofold. One, it lets you see between Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the rest of the market how there may be money rolling out of one into the other. You know, what the distribution is over time, where it's kind of going to trend. And otherwise, it's just generally good to know what the figure is at any given period. So right now, we're in a kind of tough time for the market. ETH is incredibly underperforming at the moment. It just makes sense to keep your money in only Bitcoin right now. This is what a lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people have formed this kind of consensus. And what you see over time is, although Bitcoin dominance is kind of historically high at 60%, it just keeps bumping up and up and up and up. And that tells you that many people have the same idea, that they're getting burned on ETH. Whenever there's pullbacks are huge, not only on ETH but other alts as well, and lots of people are rotating out of altcoins, having been burned and getting into Bitcoin, and that's why Bitcoin just keeps, the dominance just keeps going up. It's at 60% now. Who knows? It could well go back to 70% if we have another bull run. Especially, the bull run could see it go from 60 to 70% quite easily. That's what a lot of people have been speaking about lately. So I hope that helps you understand. Go have a look at the chart. You'll find it on CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko, and take a look and try and make sense of it. And I hope you found this video interesting. Let me know. Leave a comment down below. Give this video a like, and I will see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.